The true power, blood of the continent, flesh of his flesh. There are many incredible creatures in the Witcher universe, from the incomparable Geralt of Rivia to the unstoppable unseen Elder, from the legendary king of the Wild Hunt to the colossal V. Powerful, majestic, and mysterious, monsters whose very names make those who know them shudder. But all of them are only guests of the continent. They came here either by accident or by choice, pursuing their own agendas. Either way, they didn't get their power here. They drew it from sources outside of the flesh of the world, from the demonic plane of existence, as in the case of Geralt of Rivia, or from the currents of the worlds between, as in the case of Eredin. They are alien of sorts. But there is another creature whose power is incredible, and yet it is inextricably linked to the Witcher universe. It didn't come here after the conjunction of the spheres. It didn't find a home here after being banished from another world. Not only that, it is original, the one that's always been here, that which lurks in the earth's soil, in the grass and the morning dew on it, in the midday heat, and in the roots of the trees. It is everywhere, and it's not even easy to understand. Only one creature can, ancient, unimaginable. In this video, we will discuss the one being who was able to contain the primordial power of the continent, the one who was born at the dawn of the material world, the one who spent its entire endless life exploring its secrets, and immediately there were no secrets left that she would not reveal. Her real name was lost in the annals of history, but the foolish aliens who call themselves humans gave her another, quite simple, but a very accurate name, She Who Knows. And today, we're gonna tell you her story. Because you're on the Old Witcher channel, here we tell you about the most interesting secrets of the Witcher universe. And She Who Knows is definitely one of the most mysterious creatures on the continent. It's time for the Old Witcher to tell her story. The roots of her power. The history of Her Who Knows began in times so ancient that even the original inhabitants of the continent did not remember them. A time when the concept of life itself was not yet fully formed, on a continent whose existence was not even suspected in Nilfgaard, let alone the northern realms. She was destined to think for the first time about what it meant to exist, to realize oneself for the first time, and to search for the meaning of existence for the first time as well. Perhaps even she herself had forgotten when, how, and where she was born. The only thing that was certain was that she began her existence here in this world. However young she was then, the first child of the continent. She was alone. She had no mother or father, no creator to ask her questions. The whole world lay before her, wild, unexplored, pure and virgin. She had no form. She was a whirlwind that swept over the clear hills, the first strange forests, and the newly formed riverbeds. She penetrated everything, every pebble, every drop of water, every gust of wind. She was exploring the world, the first consciousness without which nothing material could exist. She absorbed knowledge like a sponge absorbs moisture. With her unclouded mind, she absorbed information about everything that existed. And at one moment, she realized that she needed a physical form. Everything that exists has a form. Even a gust of wind has a direction, and it affects the other elements, leaving its mark on the earth, the water, and the plants. She Who Knows also took form. Her study was coming to an end. There was nothing on the continent that she did not understand. Only one mystery remained, unresolved and maddening. She Who Knows could not realize it herself. She was the only one, and she didn't understand the meaning of her existence. She was obsessed with this mystery. Who is she? Why is she here? All things in this world have a mate, and she has no mate. She is all alone. All alone. She hasn't found a soulmate in the whole world. Unique, immortal, and miserable at the same time. Loneliness gripped her whole being. She knew the entire continent down to the last grain of sand on the hottest seashore, but nowhere could she find a similar being. The mystery of her origins became a burden. She descended into madness. The peaceful wisdom brought only a sense of desolation. The hopeless end of She Who Knows was near, but in an instant, everything changed. The very foundations of creation shook, something that had never happened before. The the conjunction of the spheres, and in an instant, everything changed. The continent was flooded with monsters. From other worlds came intelligent and sentient beings in ships. It was opportunity, a hope. But even among the incredible number of aliens, among all the species, she who knows found no kindred spirit. What else would happen? When would this loneliness end? The desperate madness grew. Meanwhile, the thinning fabric of the universe was letting a new force into the world. Unseen and strange, a force called magic. Magic was new to her who knew, an instrument of unprecedented power. Now she could do more than just explore. With magic, she who knows could create herself. She mastered the magical currents quickly, almost instantly. Yeah, she did not understand them to the smallest detail, as she understood the essence of the world, but the knowledge she had accumulated over the millennia was more than enough to master magic skillfully. Her loneliness in a world inhabited by sentient beings became unbearable. She was drawn to humans. She came to this continent, to these lands where humans had settled. But to watch them grow, develop, experience love, hate, and other feelings, to watch them die after fulfilling their destinies and achieving even the smallest of goals, it was sheer torture for a truly lonely creature. And she who knows finally took matters into her own hands. Her daughters. She bled for the first time from the flesh with which she had clothed herself. She mixed this blood with earth and with ordinary mud. From the resulting clay, she molded 3 figures in her likeness, and with magical currents, she breathed life into these figures. The eyes of the 3 creatures opened, and they saw the world. And she who knows named them her daughters. She created them for her own pleasure, and in the hope that now she would have soulmates, that now her loneliness would end. Realizing her superiority and hoping to create a true legacy for her daughters, she who knows began to rule Velen. She claimed the entire region as her own, and there was no power that could oppose her. The villagers quickly accepted the fact that they would obey the new mistress, especially since this mistress was generous and kind. She provided crops in the swampy, uninhabitable land. She cured diseases and saved lives. The only thing she asked for in return was unquestioning obedience. She was called the Mistress of the Forest, the one and only. They treated her like a goddess. They brought her gifts, organized sacrifices. She even received love from the people. They were grateful for good crops. And the Mistress of the Forest became proud. Now she wanted to be loved. And if she wasn't, well, anyone who dared speak out against the goddess would be in trouble. All over Velen, hiding in the shadows of the houses, under the branches of trees disguised as ordinary girls, 3 daughters of she who knows were 3 beings, weavers, whispers, and brewers. That's what the common people called them, because of the talents they showed. They were older than anything the peasants knew, except for the immortal goddess mother herself, of course. There wasn't a single tree older than them. The sisters were the ears and the punishing hand of the Mistress of the Forest. Originally, they had obeyed her without question. Anyone who spoke out against their mother had to either flee Velen quickly or beg for forgiveness. The sisters knew and heard everything. They were the ears and the voice of their mother. They listened and told the people what the goddess wanted, and they allowed no dissent. They never immediately killed a man who spoke out against her who knows. They didn't maim him or curse him. They just marked him with an invisible sign. And then this happened. Once a year, at the top of the bald mountain, Ard Kerbin, at the roots of a giant oak tree, which was not much younger than the daughters of the Mistress of the Forest, there weavers, whispers, and brewers would have a festive night in honor of their mother. On this night, sacrifices were offered to the goddess. The farmers gave a portion of their crops and their best livestock, but the sisters demanded more. They selected a few men. They called them the chosen ones, and they sacrificed them to their mother. Almost always among them were those who dared to speak out against her who knows. Soon there were no more dissatisfied with the rule of the Mistress of the Forest in Velen at all. On the Old Witch channel, the only thing that can cause dissatisfaction is the lack of subscribers. Only 2-3% of the people who watch our videos subscribe to the channel. To clear up this misunderstanding, subscribe and we promise more cool content about the Witcher universe. And for now, we continue our story. Her confinement. Such rituals have become common. The earth in this place had absorbed a lot of blood, and the essence of the great goddess of Velen began to warp. She had gone from natural, inseparable from the flesh of the continent, to alien, wild, and hungry. It was a curse. The madness of the mistress of the forest could no longer be stopped. She didn't find what she was looking for in her daughters. She was still alone, never understanding the meaning of her existence, still afraid, and now poisoning everything around her. Nature no longer obeyed the mistress of the forest. She could no longer give the people harvests. She could no longer help them with their problems. The connection between her and the essence of this world was thinning, and the madness grew. She wanted more and more love, more gifts, and more dissent was happening. More and more blood was spilled on Bald Mountain. The first to notice the changes were the daughters, Weavis, Whispus, and Brewis. They realized that things were getting out of hand. People began to flee Velen. They received nothing in return for their obedience, and the land was becoming more and more poisonous. It was as if they were filled with filth. The very existence of the land, the mistress of the forest, had been defiled, and the sisters couldn't accept that. They had their own ambitions. They wanted things to be the way they were, so they decided to take action against their mad mother. On the day of the feast, which had already become customary, when She Who Knows was brought gifts, then the daughters betrayed their mother and killed her by combining their powers and by using their magic and taking advantage of the fact that She Who Knows' connection to the continent was almost gone. They caused the death of her physical body, and they imprisoned her spirit in the ancient oak tree that grew on Bald Mountain.
The crones killed me. My spirit they captured, imprisoned me in the tree.
They took their mother's remains far away, to the swamps, where they hid them from all her followers. But the daughters could not kill the mistress of the forest completely. Even imprisoned in the oak, she lived on. For years, she had been tangled in the roots of the old tree. She cursed the land and drove people mad with her whispers. She summoned monsters and beasts from all around and waited, hoping for revenge, hoping to be set free. Now her quest for knowledge was complete. She had experienced betrayal, she had experienced physical death, and she was ready for the next step. It all depended on one traveler, a witcher with astonishingly white hair. And the pagan celebration on Bald Mountain in Velen continues to be an annual event. The peasants continue to offer their gifts, and themselves as sacrifices as well. The daughters have now taken the place of their mother. They are the mistresses of the forest, but things can change, and it's in the hands of the White Wolf, Geralt of Rivia. Will he unleash the original spirit of the continent, and will this spirit find its destiny? Nobody knows. These choices will only be answered by the average gamer who will make their choice in the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt game. But either way, it will be great to see this story unfold in the future, in new games in the Witcher universe. So what do you guys think of the ancient creature going by the name of She Who Knows and her daughters? Be sure to write about it in the comments. Should we make another video exclusively about crones and their secrets, or should we talk about something else? Do express yourself, and we will take your wishes into consideration. Do subscribe to the channel, and see you soon when the old Witcher speaks once again.